Why you can't stop thinking about yourself. You're sitting there, right now, reading these words, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet question is running on an endless loop. How do I look right now? Do I seem smart? Does this make sense? Am I holding my face the right way? You might not even notice it's there, but it never really stops. That little voice, that tiny spotlight, always pointing back at you. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect. The feeling that everyone around you is watching you, judging you, noticing that tiny stain on your shirt, remembering that awkward thing you said 3 years ago when you were trying to order coffee and the words came out completely wrong. And here's the strange part. You know logically that people don't care that much. You know because you don't care that much about them. You cannot remember what your coworker was wearing yesterday. You cannot recall the exact thing your friend said that embarrassed them last week. But somehow you are absolutely certain they remember every detail of your worst moments. Why does that gap exist? Because your brain was never designed to be objective. It was designed to keep you alive. And the most important thing for survival, according to your brain, is you. A neuroscientist named Matthew Lieberman at UCLA spent years studying this exact question. He put people in an fMRI scanner and asked them simple things. What do you think about politics? What do you think about this movie? What do you think about that person standing over there? And every single time, the same network lit up like a Christmas tree. The medial prefrontal cortex. A small strip of tissue right behind your forehead. It activates whenever you think about yourself. But here is what surprised him. It also activates when you think about what other people might be thinking about you. Your brain treats those two things as the same exact process, neurologically identical. Thinking about yourself and wondering what others think about you are the same circuit. You cannot separate them. Think about what that means for a second. Every time you worry about being judged, your brain is literally running the same circuits as thinking about yourself. You are not being considerate of others. You are not being socially aware. You are being self-focused. The anxiety you feel in a crowded room is not empathy. It is narcissism wearing a disguise. And your brain cannot tell the difference. A study from Harvard in 2013 by Jason Mitchell and his team took this one step further. They found that when people are given a choice between thinking about themselves and just about anything else, they choose themselves almost every single time. Not because they are vain, but because the brain has a default setting. It is called the default mode network. It is what your brain does when it has nothing else to do. When you are sitting on a bus, staring out the window. When you are lying in bed, waiting for sleep. When you are brushing your teeth in the morning. Your brain is not quiet. It is busy. And what is it busy doing? You, your past, your future, your reputation, what you should have said in that argument 6 months ago, what you are going to say next time you see them. Your brain's resting state is self-reflection. You cannot escape yourself, even when you try. Let that sink in for a moment. The most natural state of the human brain is thinking about itself. Meditation tries to train you to step out of that loop. Focus on the breath. Let thoughts pass like clouds. It is incredibly difficult because you are fighting the default factory settings of 300,000 years of evolution. That friend who talks about themselves constantly. You notice it. You roll your eyes a little. Maybe you even complain about it to someone else later. But here is the uncomfortable truth you don't want to sit with. You do it too. Everyone does. The only difference is how obvious it is to other people. The human brain dedicates a massive portion of its processing power to one single task: managing your reputation. Robin Dunbar, the Oxford anthropologist who first proposed the social brain hypothesis, calculated something astonishing. About 60% of all human conversation is about who did what to whom and what people think about it. Gossip, reputation management, social status tracking, who is up, who is down, who is in, who is out. That is what your brain evolved to do. Not calculus, not philosophy, not abstract reasoning. Keeping score of the social landscape. Dunbar also discovered something else. The size of your neocortex directly predicts the size of your social group. The larger the neocortex, the more complex your social network. Human beings can maintain about 150 meaningful relationships at any given time. Dunbar's number, 150. That is the limit. Beyond that, your brain starts losing track. It cannot keep up. And yet, your brain is still trying. It is constantly scanning everyone in your life for threats, for alliances, for status changes. It is exhausting. And it gets even deeper. There is a phenomenon called the illusion of transparency. You think your internal state is much more visible to others than it actually is. When you are nervous, you assume everyone can see it. Your hands are trembling. Your voice is cracking. Your face is doing something weird. You are sure of it. When you are embarrassed, you think your face is burning red and obvious to the whole room. But they cannot see it. Not really. A study by Kenneth Savitsky at Virginia Tech demonstrated this beautifully. He had participants give an awkward speech in front of a small group. The speech was designed to be uncomfortable. They had to sing a song or tell an embarrassing story. Afterward, he asked them how nervous they thought they looked on a scale of 1 to 10. Then he asked the audience the same question. How nervous did that person look? The speakers rated their own nervousness as much higher than the audience did. The gap was massive. The speakers were convinced everyone could see their panic. The audience barely noticed a thing. You are not as transparent as you think. You are hiding in plain sight. There is another layer to this too. It is called the egocentric bias. When something happens, your brain automatically assumes you are more central to the event than you actually are. The meeting that went badly, it was your fault. The party that was awkward, you ruined it. The group that laughed, they were laughing at you. But the truth is almost always different. You were one variable among many. The brain just puts you at the center of every story because it cannot imagine the story without you. Think about the last time you walked into a room and felt like everyone turned to look at you. They probably did glance up. That is a natural human reflex. But within 1 second, they looked away and went back to what they were doing. You were the center of their attention for less than a heartbeat. And then you were gone from their mind. But you carried that feeling for the rest of the night. A team of researchers at Cornell, led by Thomas Gilovich, ran a famous experiment on this. They had students put on a ridiculous t-shirt featuring a face that everyone would recognize, Barry Manilow. Then they walked into a room full of other students. Afterward, the researchers asked the students how many people they thought noticed their shirt. The students guessed about half the room. In reality, only about 20% noticed. The spotlight effect. You think the light is on you. But most people are too busy wondering if the light is on them. So what is going on inside your brain when this happens? The anterior cingulate cortex is involved. It detects conflict between what you expect and what is happening. When you walk into a room and think everyone is staring, your anterior cingulate cortex fires. It is detecting a mismatch. You feel exposed. You feel vulnerable. Your brain interprets this as a potential threat, and it sends a signal to your amygdala, the fear center, fight or flight. But there is no tiger. There is no enemy. There are just people sitting on couches looking at their phones. Your brain cannot tell the difference between social judgment and physical danger. The same systems activate. This is why social rejection physically hurts. When you get excluded from a group, when someone ignores your text, when you are left out of an invitation, your brain activates the same pain pathways as a physical injury. A study by Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA proved this. She had participants play a virtual ball-tossing game while in an fMRI scanner. At first, they were included. Then the other players started excluding them. The scanners lit up. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that processes physical pain. Social pain is not a metaphor. Your brain treats it exactly the same as a broken bone. And here is where it gets really strange. Your brain does not just focus on yourself because it is selfish. It focuses on yourself because it literally does not have another option. Every thought you have is filtered through your own experience. You cannot step outside your own head. You cannot see the world from anyone else's perspective, not truly. You can imagine it. You can guess. You can try really hard to be empathetic, but you never leave the theater of your own mind. There is no exit door. This is called naive realism. The belief that you see the world exactly as it is. Not an interpretation, not one perspective among many, but reality itself. Other people are biased. Other people are wrong. Other people are influenced by their emotions and their past and their hidden motivations. But you see the truth. It is a logical impossibility. Every human being on Earth believes this simultaneously, and your brain is absolutely convinced it is correct. Every single second of every single day. A famous experiment by Emily Pronin at Princeton drove this home. She asked participants to evaluate their own biases. How biased are you when making decisions about money, about people, about yourself? Most people said the same thing. Not very. I am pretty objective. Then she asked them to evaluate the biases of a complete stranger, just someone they had never met. The ratings were dramatically higher. That person is biased. That person is irrational. Everyone immediately recognized bias in others. Almost no one recognized it in themselves. She called it the bias blind spot. You can see everyone else's flaws with perfect clarity. Your own are completely invisible to you. There is more. Your memory is not a recording. It is a story. And you are the author. Every time you remember something, you do not pull up a perfect video file from a hard drive. You reconstruct the memory from fragments. And every time you reconstruct it, you change it slightly. Your brain edits the story. It makes you look a little better. It smooths over the embarrassing parts. It adds justification for things you did that you are not proud of. This is called the self-serving bias. You remember your successes more vividly than your failures. You attribute your wins to skill and your losses to bad luck. Your brain is spinning a narrative where you are the hero. Always. Daniel Kahneman won a Nobel Prize for studying this. He showed that people consistently overestimate how much they contributed to a group project. They remember doing more work than they actually did. They remember being more helpful, more competent, more central to the outcome, and they genuinely believe it. Their memory is not lying. It is just heavily edited in their favor. So what do you do with all of this? You cannot turn off the default mode network. You cannot extract yourself from your own head. You cannot stop thinking about yourself. That part of your brain is not a bug. It is the operating system you run on. Every human being who has ever lived has run on the same system. Every philosopher who ever wondered about the nature of consciousness, every scientist who ever tried to be objective, every monk who ever meditated for 30 years, they were all fighting the same machine. But here is the thing. You can learn to recognize when it is running a program you do not need. That moment when you feel judged. That spike of anxiety that hits you in a conversation. That replay of an old mistake playing on a loop at 2 in the morning when you cannot sleep and your brain decides this is the perfect time to revisit that thing you said in high school 15 years ago. That is your medial prefrontal cortex doing its job. It is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to protect you. It evolved to care about what others think because if the tribe rejected you 100,000 years ago, you died. Social pain was life or death. The brain has not updated that software. It is still running on ancient firmware from the Pleistocene savanna, and it cannot tell the difference between being excluded from a tribe and being left on red by someone you barely know. The good news is, you can name it. You can step back for just half a second and say, that is the spotlight effect. That is the illusion of transparency. That is my default mode network running a simulation of a future that will never happen. And just naming it changes something. It creates a tiny gap, a tiny crack between the feeling and the story you tell yourself about it. In that gap, you have a choice. The next time you catch yourself spiraling, wondering what they think, replaying that conversation for the 30th time, trying to predict how you are being perceived by someone who probably hasn't thought about you since the conversation ended, stop. Just for 1 second. And remember this one sentence. They are sitting in the same theater you are. They are watching their own movie. They are thinking about their own embarrassing moment from 3 years ago. They are worrying about their own reputation, their own future, their own reflection in the mirror. They are too busy thinking about themselves to think about you. And when they do think about you, it is usually through the lens of how you make them feel about themselves. You are not the center of everyone's world. You never were. And that is actually freeing, because it means the pressure you feel is self-imposed. The judgment you fear is mostly your own. The audience you are performing for does not exist. It is a projection, a ghost in the machine. The only person watching you as closely as you think is the person doing the thinking. You are not the center of everyone's world, but you are the center of your own. And that is a strange and beautiful thing, because it means the one person who can change how you feel about yourself is the same person who has been running the show this entire time. You, sitting there, reading these words. How do you look right now?